Here's the big question.
How are agents like us,
who didn't get an opportunity to invest in a franchise early,
who are spending time and money to sell homes,
building someone else's saleable asset?
How do we grow a business but still build wealth?
Have an exit strategy,
and get a piece of the pie that's not dependent
on us working more hours and every weekend?
That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer.
My name is Jay Kinder.
My name is Al Stasek.
And I'm Michael Reese. We are your hosts, and welcome to the One Big Fire podcast.
All right, boom. We are here live with Ken Johnson. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good, Jay. How you doing today?
Man, I can't complain. Things are always good over here in my world, and as today is one of those reasons why, man. You have made the decision and made the jump over to eXp Realty, coming over from HomeSmart. And man, I just want to unpack. I want to unpack the the decision making process. So obviously, you have a high powered business. And making a change is never easy. And so, kind of go through what are the reasons why you would do such a crazy thing like, partner with us at eXp. So why don't you start, Ken, just by, sharing kind of your journey in real estate, with kind of where you're at in your business and kind of where you came from.
I started in new construction, decided that I wanted to decided that the builder wasn't going to pay me enough money because I kept asking for raises and they're like, no. So I started doing resale, been in real estate for 20 years, and then really got my lead flow down about 10 years ago and started a team, moved to Phoenix. And when I moved to Phoenix, I joined HomeSmart because the fees were so cheap. Like it was just less expensive than actually opening up my own brokerage. Right. So I decided to go there, and they were a great company to work for. Like I'm not here to badmouth anybody. Sure. But just like you say in your opener, like, why am I building somebody else's sellable asset? I'm not making anything out of this. So, grew my team, moved to Phoenix 6 years ago and grew my team here in Phoenix and just continue to grow onward and upward. And I saw eXp as a way to not only leverage my team and grow that way, but also get stock options and build a sellable asset that I make money off of, not somebody else.
Right. There you go, man. Yeah, that's generally the process that you go through. So what was, how long did it take for you to, I know that, you timing is everything, right? Moving the business especially of your size is not an easy decision to make, but what kind of got you to the point where you were ready to make the move and talk through a little bit of that process?
Well, what's funny is like almost a year ago, is like March of last year, I think was the first time I got on a call with you and Aaron. And I was like, look, I've already capped out with HomeSmart for the year. I'm not really looking at making a move. And I'll be the first to say that was a really dumb choice. I should have sucked it up and paid the cap again, and moved my team over a year ago, just because I think I missed out on some good opportunity and really could have catapulted myself a little further. But I thought I was making a wise business decision and waiting to go because I'd already spent money on a cap. But in looking at it in retrospect, it wouldn't have cost me that much more.
Right.
To switch.
Right.
Like I would end up paying $5,000, $6,000 more and got my cap back in stock for sure.
Right. Right. So it's easy looking back, right? But I think that's pretty much everybody, including me and Aaron as well, who's not with us here today. But you go through this process of looking back and go, man, I wish I'd have done that sooner. That's generally like everybody at eXp says that. So definitely not strange to hear you say that. So what when you talk about opportunity, obviously there's the stock, there's a lot of pieces to the business model. What do you feel like is the piece that's the hardest for people to kind of get their head around? Because I think, everybody kind of has this opinion of what they think eXp is. And it's not until you really do dig in a little bit before you start to see, hey, there's a lot more to this than maybe I probably originally thought. What do you feel like was the thing that really helped you go, okay, this is a no-brainer, I'm going to do this?
Honestly, the biggest thing was getting that cap back in stock, because I mean, in the tax bracket that I'm in, I know that you're in. I mean, you're paying 35% of your income plus whatever state tax you have on top of it to the government. So you might as well look at doing long-term capital gains instead. So if I can offset write off that money that I pay out to eXp, and then take that asset of the stock that I get. And when I go to sell that, I'm going to be selling it at 20% tax bracket, not a 35%. So you're not saving. Like when I actually broke it down and looked at it that way, like I'm not saving anything.
Right.
And one of the biggest things that made me go, I am for sure doing this. I'm not going in. I'm not going to stay at HomeSmart. HomeSmart actually switched to what they call HomeSmart Plus, which is they copied eXp's model, and they go, well, we're going to do a rev share plan. But then they're like, I started poking, like I met with some of the uppity ups over at HomeSmart, and they tried selling me on the program. And when I looked at it, I'm like, you guys aren't even as good as eXp. Like that's a better, I'm getting stock back. And then they've now said, oh, we're going to give stock to our agents and stuff. Honestly, like I got to give kudos to eXp because people are trying to copy them. And when you do things right, people try to copy you. And I don't want to be a copycat. I'd rather go with somebody that's proven and knows what they're doing, doesn't change it because somebody that closes a lot of transactions goes, I don't want to do your program because of XYZ. And like, oh, we'll make those changes. Like, well, I don't need that. I need somebody to say, this is the program, this is the way it works. And it's either going to fit inside your business model or it's not. And I honestly appreciate that. I don't need somebody to bend over backwards for me. Just show me the way.
Right. Yeah. It's one of the things that I think attracted us as well is, we didn't get any special deal. We get the same deal everybody else gets. Right. So, everybody that comes on get the same deal. You have the ability to, earn, what you pay in back in stock. And then ultimately, through the revenue share program, influencers and people who have large teams, generally speaking, are going to get paid to be at eXp. And so, it's just it's a beautiful thing when you really think about it. And you always go back to, the way that, that I was able to find success selling real estate was by getting around the right people. And those people didn't always have, financial alignment to help me. Certainly within my own bricks and mortar office, I didn't have, anybody that was trying to help me because they viewed me as competition. But I would get in those rooms and I pay a lot of money, fly around the country, be in masterminds, join coaching groups, all this kind of stuff. And ultimately, you would learn from the people that have done what it is that you're trying to do. That's where, a lot of the biggest growth happens. And, here at eXp, the beautiful thing is that, when you partner with us, we have a vested interest in your success. So, there's a reason for us to help you. There's a little bit of passive income there for all of us to do that. And so there's some alignment there, and you actually have a little bit more support instead of having to, figure it out on your own. I think for a lot of agents, that's, something that they don't have where they're at.
Oh yeah, no. And that's being able to network. Like one thing that my mentor taught me is you don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to align yourself with the smartest people in the room.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. I used to say something very similar. I said, I'm not the smartest kid in class, but I always sit next to him. And, that's really, this like.
Hey Jay, you're breaking up. I don't know if it's you or me.
That's me. Oh, it's me. It's the good old Puerto Rico the island internet is what that is. It's been a little troublesome lately, but yeah. Anyways, I'm back. So, but yeah, no, it is a beautiful thing. So yeah. So what's the vision, man? So I mean, one of the unique things about eXp's model is your ability to kind of expand really kind of any way that you might want to, without the constraint of having to join another office and having to pay additional fees and things of that nature. Is there any vision for you to expand outside of your current territory, or are you looking at your business model any different now?
Yeah, I am looking at my business model different now. I mean, basically before I was looking at it like, I got to grow, I got to bring agents in and bring them on my team and then give them leads. And I'm still going to do that. I mean, that the business model of creating a team and feeding agents leads, like in eXp, like it only makes more sense to do that. Right. Other than less. Right. So, yeah, my whole goal now is to expand to my goal over the next year is that 50 agents here in the Phoenix area. We have 8 agents, a little over 8 agents on the team right now with my licensed assistant, but I'm looking to bring in to go to 50 agents here in Phoenix and start going into different areas. Like I moved from Salt Lake City, Utah. 6 years ago. Still have really good relationships with agents that are there in the Utah market, and guy that I sold my brokerage to there. So I'm definitely looking at doing lead generation and expanding my team and network throughout the rest of the country.
Right.
So.
Yep, definitely. You mentioned this early on there. That you figured out how to lead generate, and so I think probably most agents, the struggle is, where am I going to get my next customer, right? And so with what and the tools that you get at eXp, you have the ability to help agents in ways that they sometimes aren't getting that kind of support and help where they're at. So if you're watching this and you're looking for trying to figure out how to be successful in this business, I definitely would recommend reaching out to Ken and having a conversation, because the solution might be right in front of you.
Yeah. Oh, and partnering, like, I just finished reading a book last month, Who Not How. And every time that I've actually looked at, like, who can I work with that it's going to be able to help propel me to the next level, instead of how do I get to the next level? Yep. Life is a team sport. And the less you look at it as a one-on-one match, and the more you look at it as, how can I raise myself and raise the people around me, not just myself, to the next level, that is where power comes, not by doing everything yourself.
Right.
So,
100%. I couldn't agree with that more, man. It's definitely about the people that you align yourself with, and it's not a secret. I think everybody kind of figures that out eventually. The more that you're in alignment with top people that are already doing what you're trying to do, I always used to say that you get in the room, and if you're one of the dumbest people in the room is kind of goal, but they suck you up to the top, and they make you think differently. They challenge your current beliefs and the things, the way you're thinking about things. And to be quite honest, I'll never forget the very first time I was at an event, and I'd never heard of anybody doing 400 transactions a year. And I was sitting next to this guy, and I'd been sitting next to him all day at this event, and didn't have any idea. He gets up to the mic and just gives a testimonial. He's like, "Hey, listen, last year I did 400 deals, and I did this and this and this." And he was giving a kind of a testimonial in the room to the guy that was teaching. But it was like, I was looking at this guy like, what in the world, 400 deals a year? I never even dreamed that. But after that, I knew it was possible, right? It's like, now I know it can be done. I just got to figure out how to do it, right? And so, your mind gets expanded to a certain place where you can't think small again once you get around people that think big and think bigger than where you're at. So no, I definitely agree. You made the transition over, obviously, we call eXp, the eXp world is maybe the eXp metaverse now, is the new name for eXp world. But, it's, a lot of people don't probably understand, what's the difference? What does this mean, cloud-based and all of that? How would you explain kind of your experience so far with the way that we do business at eXp compared to maybe the way you were doing it at HomeSmart?
You know what? Like, I really like the training, the different, like, eXp University and all the stuff, like the cloud-based stuff that they have, like it blows away in person out of the water. Like, for you to go and like do as many classes or drive around and like find the information that's literally readily available to you at your fingertips. Right. And the value of the information that's being provided. Seriously, like I told one of my friends that's an agent that's still at HomeSmart, he was like, well, what's the difference between what we had over at HomeSmart and the technology that we have there and what's over at eXp? And I was like, honestly, like, it's driving a Tesla compared to a Model T. Right. Like, the technology that's available to you, like it makes it so much simpler to do your business. And really, like, I like that you call it one big fire. Like, I explained, because I went to eXpCon back in November, and I've been to other national programs and stuff from HomeSmart and other companies, and literally just the amount of energy and the willingness to help other people step up into where they're wanting to go really blew me away. Like, that it's a different community. Right. And maybe it is because we don't see each other at the office. I don't know.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, it is. You're always trying to, like, look for what you think is right. And so this might be just looking at what feels right. But, like, the fact that we all have stock in the company, and if the company does better, And if the agents do better, we all do better. That's a small thing, but I think it's a much bigger thing that people realize. And, I just think back to like when my dad owned, he owned a Coldwell Banker franchise. He actually just moved over to eXp after buying it in 1997, and finally had the franchise agreement came up, and he moved over to eXp. And so, but through all those years, like when I was working there, and if my dad had said, "Hey, here's the vision, here's what we want to do, the company wants to do this," I'd be like, "All right, does that mean you're changing my split? Because if you're messing with my split, we got a problem, right?" Like I was never in alignment with the company vision. I was only in alignment with what was good for me, because I didn't see the company as benefiting me. It wasn't the beneficiary. I wasn't the beneficiary of the company doing well, and so. That's the difference at eXp is the company does well, we all do well too, right? And so if the company does well, and we bring agents over and we help them be successful, we get paid a little bit for that. The stock goes up in value, and so we all have this kind of vested interest. So I think because there's so much opportunity in this business model, we tend to attract talent like you and others that have an abundance mindset, want to give back, want to we want to do those things, but it doesn't sometimes make sense to do it. In any of the other business models, but in this business model, it does. So you attract these abundance mindset type people that are able and capable of helping other agents, and then they're incentivized to do it as well. So you create this culture that's unlike anything that I've ever seen. And it's and sure, there's some great cultures in other companies. I'm not saying there's not, but all of that together is just that's like that special sauce that is hard to recreate.
I completely agree with that, because definitely you're looked at. I mean, real estate agents and any brokerage is they're commodity, right? Like, hey, how much business can you bring to the table? Like, everyone looks at the brokerage as a way that they're going to get to the next level, right? Like the brokerage is going to make them successful,
right?
I'll be the first to say the brokerage does not make you a successful real estate agent.
No,
you either have it and you work it day in and day out as a business because that's what it is, or you don't. And if you're going to work it day in and day out as a business, why not get paid for agents that come in on your team or come into the company because you're a badass,
right?
Like people come to be with other badasses,
right?
Like, let's get real. Like I didn't leave. I mean, I have a lot of friends over at HomeSmart, like they other team leaders that do really well. And I don't want them to fail. I want them to do better. I want them to do better this year than they did last year, just like I want for myself.
Right.
And if we can do that together and build up stock in a company and build up the value of the company, hey, we're all aligned, and it's better for everybody.
One big fire, baby. That's it. I mean, that's what it's all about. And it's over the years, I developed this clarity around who I like to work with, right? And so sometimes you have agents on your team and you want them to be more successful than they want to be successful. And I always struggled with that. I struggled with that because I know they had it in them, but they just didn't. They were capable, but they just weren't going to live up to that. And I want to inspire people and motivate people to do it, but like, I don't want to drag your ass to success, so I enjoy working with people that are like-minded, that want to do big things and are willing to put in the work to accomplish big things. And so, that's a beautiful thing. If with the people that, if they haven't came, they'll come eventually over, the people that you left behind, but like, we're going to align with people that want to grow and want to do big things. And we're going to put an effort into helping and assisting those people get to those goals. And so it's fun, man. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. And, I'm happy that you're a part of it. I'm looking forward to masterminding with you and helping you with your vision and helping you do big things, not just in Arizona, but across the country, across the world, across the globe, because the opportunity is that big now. And is there anything, for somebody out there that's wanting to do more than what they're currently accomplishing, what I would say is, reach out to Ken and have a conversation. This is one of those things that, it's if you have nothing to lose and only information to gain. And so if you haven't joined us yet, if you haven't partnered with us at eXp, you might be missing something. And so, take the time to have a conversation with Ken or myself. We'll jump on a call together and look at how we might be able to help you get to your goals faster. That's all I would tell you.
Yeah.
What would you?
How can we supercharge it?
Right. Yeah, what would you leave anybody? What would be your kind of parting words as far as anybody who might be interested that's watching this here today?
My parting words would be like, if you're interested, reach out. If you think that you want to get from point A to point B in your career and you're questioning how to do that, reach out. I'm more than happy to sit down with people and talk about how they can get from point A to point B. Yep. How can you grow? How can you be better? Because my goal in my life is not to be better than Jay Kinder or Michael Reese or any of those guys. My goal for myself is to be better tomorrow than I am today. And if you're trying to do anything more than that, then you're setting yourself up for failure. So the best way to be better than you were yesterday, today, is give me a call and let's talk about how you can do better at eXp.
That's it, man. I love it. Welcome aboard, my friend, and looking forward to the future that we're building together. And like we always say, man, we'll see you either at the top or from the top.
Amen.
All right, man. We'll
Sounds
see you
good.
again.
Thanks, Jay.